Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso from the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS. Across the sun-baked plains of the Sahel, a tremor of change has sent shockwaves through West Africa. In a move as unprecedented as it is unsettling, three nations have chosen to sever their ties with a powerful regional bloc. Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso, all under military rule, have announced their withdrawal from the Economic Community of West African States, or ECOWAS. This economic and political powerhouse, boasting 15 member nations, has for decades held sway over the region. But now, cracks have appeared in its foundation. Each of these nations has witnessed military coups in recent years, leading to strained relations with ECOWAS. The juntas, as the military governments are called, accuse the bloc of failing to address their security concerns, particularly the fight against rampant terrorism. They point to sanctions imposed by ECOWAS as inhumane and detrimental to their already struggling populations. But beyond the immediate grievances, these withdrawals hint at deeper discontent. Some critics argue that ECOWAS has strayed from its founding principles of Pan-Africanism and economic integration. They see the bloc as increasingly beholden to external powers and unable to effectively address the region's challenges. The ramifications of this exodus are far-reaching. For the three withdrawing nations, the economic isolation could be crippling. For ECOWAS, the loss of key members weakens its influence and raises questions about its future direction. The ripples of this decision echo across borders, with other West African nations caught in the crossfire. The specter of regional instability looms large, casting a shadow over the future of West Africa. This is not simply a story of political maneuverings. It is a human drama unfolding on a grand scale, where lives and livelihoods hang in the balance. As the dust settles, one question remains: can West Africa navigate this unprecedented storm and forge a path toward a more secure and prosperous future? Picture a vast tapestry woven from vibrant cultures, diverse economies, and shared history. This, my friends, is West Africa. And at the heart of this intricate fabric lies a powerful force for unity, the Economic Community of West African States, or ECOWAS. Founded in 1975, ECOWAS boasts 15 member nations, stretching from the sun-drenched shores of the Atlantic to the rugged peaks of the Sahel. Its mission? To create a single economic bloc, fostering free trade, monetary cooperation, and regional development. ECOWAS has been a game-changer. It has paved the way for tariff-free movement of goods, encouraged joint infrastructure projects, and nurtured collaboration in everything from agriculture to education. Imagine roads crisscrossing borders, currencies exchanged with ease, and students learning alongside each other, regardless of nationality. This is the dream ECOWAS has strived to realize. But West Africa hasn't been without its struggles. Terrorism, political instability, and climate change pose constant threats. Through it all, ECOWAS has played a crucial role in mediating conflicts, deploying peacekeeping forces, and promoting regional security. ECOWAS is more than just an economic bloc, it's a beacon of hope, a testament to the power of regional cooperation. Its recent challenges are a stark reminder of the fragility of unity, but they also present an opportunity to strengthen the bonds that tie this diverse region together. Beneath the scorching sun of the Sahel, a storm of political turbulence has been brewing. In recent years, a wave of military coups has swept across Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso, upending their fragile democracies and sending tremors through West Africa. In Mali, 2020 saw the first crack in the foundation. Mutinous soldiers, frustrated by corruption and the ongoing insurgency, seized power. But the tremors didn't stop there. A second coup in 2021 ousted the first junta, further deepening the crisis. The discontent spread eastward. In Niger, 2023 witnessed its military takeover, echoing the grievances of its Malian neighbors. And just months prior, Burkina Faso was rocked by two coups within a year, each junta promising stability but raising concerns about a return to democratic rule. These coups sparked a fiery collision with the Economic Community of West African States, or ECOWAS. The regional bloc, a champion of democracy and human rights, swiftly condemned the military takeovers. Sanctions were imposed, borders were closed, and a tense standoff ensued. The juntas, feeling ostracized and pressured, accused ECOWAS of acting with undue bias. They argued that the sanctions, meant to force a return to democracy, were instead inflicting hardship on their already struggling populations. In the heart of West Africa, where the sands whisper ancient secrets and the sun beats down with unrelenting heat, a tectonic shift has occurred. Three nations, bound by history and geography, have chosen to walk a solitary path, severing a tie that has stood for decades. Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso, names etched in the chronicles of empires and revolutions, have announced their unprecedented withdrawal from the economic community of West African states, a regional powerhouse that once held sway over millions. This is not a mere administrative shuffle. It is a tremor that reverberates through the very foundations of West Africa. It speaks of discontent, defiance, and a yearning for a new destiny. But it also whispers of uncertainty, instability, and the potential fracturing of a region long bound by shared aspirations. Across borders, whispers turn to questions. From seasoned traders worried about crippled trade routes to anxious mothers fearing for their children's future, the ramifications of this decision echo in every marketplace, every village, every heart. Is this the unraveling of a meticulously woven tapestry, or the birth pangs of a new era? Has West Africa reached a critical juncture, or will bridges be built to mend the fissures? In the swirling sands of uncertainty, one truth remains clear. The story of West Africa has just taken a dramatic turn, and the world watches with bated breath. The Economic Community of West African States, or ECOWAS, has long been a cornerstone of regional stability and integration in West Africa. Its 15 member nations, stretching from the Atlantic coast to the Sahel, have sought to forge a path of economic cooperation, political stability, and shared security. However, recent events have shaken the foundations of this regional bloc. In a move as unexpected as it is consequential, Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso have announced their withdrawal from ECOWAS. These three nations, all currently under military rule, have cited frustration with sanctions imposed by the bloc and a perceived divergence from its founding principles. The coups d'état in each country, occurring between 2020 and 2023, ignited tensions with ECOWAS. The regional bloc, committed to democratic governance, imposed sanctions aimed at pressuring the juntas to restore civilian rule. These sanctions, however, had a significant economic impact on the populations of all three countries. The ramifications of this withdrawal are far-reaching. The economic consequences for all parties involved remain uncertain, and the potential for regional instability has risen. ECOWAS faces the challenge of navigating this new landscape while upholding its core principles. The withdrawal of Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso from ECOWAS marks a critical juncture in the history of West Africa. The questions now echo across the region. Can dialogue and compromise bridge the divide? Can a path be found towards renewed cooperation and regional stability? Only time will tell how this unprecedented chapter in West African history will unfold. Imagine a vast tapestry woven from rich cultures, diverse landscapes, and shared history. This, my friends, is West Africa. And at the heart of this intricate fabric lies a powerful force for unity, the Economic Community of West African States, or ECOWAS. Founded in 1975, ECOWAS boasts 15 member nations, stretching from the sun-kissed shores of the Atlantic to the rugged peaks of the Sahel. Its mission? To create a single economic bloc, fostering free trade, monetary cooperation, and regional development. ECOWAS isn't just about numbers on a page. It's about tearing down trade barriers, allowing goods to flow freely across borders. It's about students from different countries learning side by side, sharing knowledge, and fostering cultural understanding. It's about standing shoulder to shoulder against common threats, ensuring regional security for all. Of course, West Africa isn't without its struggles. Droughts scorch the land, terrorist groups sow fear, and political instability occasionally rocks the boat. But through it all, ECOWAS has been a beacon of hope, a platform for collaboration and problem solving. ECOWAS is more than just an economic bloc, it's a community, a family bound by shared dreams and aspirations. The recent challenges it faces are a reminder of the fragility of unity, but they also present an opportunity to strengthen the bonds that tie this diverse region together. Beneath the scorching sun of the Sahel, discontent has brewed like a simmering storm. In recent years, military coups have swept across Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso, shattering fragile democracies and sending tremors through West Africa. In 2020, Malian soldiers, frustrated by corruption and insurgency, took power. But the tremors didn't stop there. A second coup in 2021 deepened the crisis, casting a long shadow of uncertainty. The discontent spread eastward. In 2023, Niger followed suit, echoing the grievances of its Malian neighbors. And Burkina Faso, already reeling from 2 coups within a year, became a volatile tinderbox. These upheavals collided with the Economic Community of West African States, or ECOWAS. A champion of democracy and human rights, the regional bloc swiftly condemned the coups. Sanctions were imposed, borders slammed shut, and a tense standoff ensued. The juntas, feeling ostracized and pressured, accused ECOWAS of undue bias. They argued that sanctions, meant to force a return to democracy, were instead inflicting hardship on their already struggling populations. This voiceover emphasizes the dramatic nature of the coups, the cause-and-effect relationship between them, and the growing tensions with ECOWAS. It sets the stage for a deeper exploration of the motivations behind the withdrawals. The Economic Community of West African States, or ECOWAS, has long been a key player in promoting regional stability and integration in West Africa. However, recent political developments have strained its relationship with Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. Military coups that occurred between 2020 and 2023 in these 3 countries led to heightened tensions with ECOWAS. The bloc, committed to democratic governance, implemented sanctions aimed at pressuring the juntas to restore civilian rule. These sanctions, while intended to address concerns about democratic backsliding, had a significant economic impact on the populations of all 3 countries. The juntas, facing internal pressure and economic hardship, voiced frustration with ECOWAS and perceived interference in their internal affairs. It is important to note that perspectives on the situation vary. Some view the sanctions as necessary pressure to ensure a return to democratic norms, while others argue that they exacerbated existing economic vulnerabilities and hindered dialogue. The recent withdrawal of Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso from ECOWAS marks a significant turning point in the history of the bloc and the region as a whole. The complex interplay of factors that led to this decision needs careful examination. Can dialogue and compromise bridge the divide? Can a new path toward cooperation and regional stability be found? Only time will tell how this unprecedented chapter in West African history will unfold. Beneath the Saharan sun, where shadows of fear dance alongside mirages of hope, the military juntas of Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso raise their voices in unison. Their cry? Not defiance, but a lament echoing across the desert sands, a lament of betrayal, of neglect, of a broken promise. You stand by, they accuse, their voices tinged with bitterness, as our nations bleed from the fangs of terror. You impose sanctions, crippling our economies, while we face down jihadists with bare hands. Inhumane, they call these sanctions, shackles that bind not just their leaders, but their people. Mothers clutching empty plates, children begging for a future stolen by economic isolation. These are the unintended consequences, they argue, of a misplaced crusade for democracy. But their discontent runs deeper than sanctions. It burrows into the very foundation of ECOWAS itself. You have strayed, they whisper, their words heavy with a sense of betrayal, from the path of Pan-Africanism, of unity, of shared destiny. These are not mere accusations, but a challenge, a plea for ECOWAS to rediscover its roots, to remember the dreams of a united West Africa, where security, prosperity, and brotherhood stand tall above fleeting political squabbles. Will ECOWAS heed these voices, or will the desert winds carry the echoes of a fractured union? The future of West Africa hangs in the balance, waiting for the answer to unfold. The recent withdrawal of Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso from ECOWAS has highlighted several key criticisms voiced by the military juntas in these countries. These criticisms revolve around 3 main points. 1. Lack of support in fighting terrorism. The juntas feel that ECOWAS has not provided sufficient support in their ongoing struggles against terrorist groups operating within their borders. They argue that while the bloc condemns terrorism, concrete measures and resources to aid their security efforts have been lacking. 2. Inhumane sanctions. The economic sanctions imposed by ECOWAS on these countries are seen as excessively harsh and detrimental to their populations. The juntas argue that these sanctions disproportionately impact ordinary citizens, further exacerbating already existing economic hardship and hindering their ability to address the root causes of instability. 3. Deviation from founding principles. Some within the juntas perceive a shift in ECOWAS's focus away from its founding principles of Pan-Africanism and economic integration. They contend that the bloc has become overly concerned with promoting democracy and human rights at the expense of addressing regional security threats and fostering economic development. It is important to note that these criticisms are not universally accepted. Some argue that the junta's actions, including the military coups and perceived human rights abuses, have contributed to the current situation. Furthermore, others believe that ECOWAS is playing a crucial role in upholding democratic values and regional stability. The complex interplay of factors that led to the withdrawal of these three countries requires careful examination. Can these criticisms be addressed through dialogue and compromise? Can ECOWAS adapt its approach to better address the concerns of its members? The answers to these questions will determine the future of this regional bloc and the fate of West Africa. Across the sun-baked plains of the Sahel, a shadow stretches long and ominous. The withdrawal of Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso from ECOWAS is not just a political tremor, it's a fissure in the fragile shield against the encroaching darkness. This region already bleeds from the wounds of terrorism. Jihadists roam like phantoms, sowing fear and destabilization. With three key players stepping back, the security vacuum could widen, leaving swathes of territory vulnerable to the fangs of extremist ideologies. Intelligence sharing might falter, joint operations might stumble, and the flow of arms and fighters might become unchecked. The ripple effect could wash over borders, engulfing neighboring nations in a tide of chaos. Is this the dawn of a new era of regional fracture, where mistrust trumps cooperation and security crumbles? Or can bridges be built across the widening chasm, forging a new path toward unity and shared defense against the common enemy? The answer remains shrouded in the dust of uncertainty, a chilling riddle whispered on the wind. The withdrawal of Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso from ECOWAS raises concerns about the potential ramifications for regional security in West Africa. These countries face significant challenges, including ongoing terrorist threats, instability, and porous borders. Mali, for example, grapples with multiple jihadist groups operating in its northern and central regions. Niger contends with attacks along its border with Mali and instability in its southeast. Burkina Faso has witnessed escalating violence by both local and foreign terrorist groups. Previously, ECOWAS played a crucial role in coordinating regional security efforts. The bloc deployed peacekeeping forces in Mali, facilitated intelligence sharing, and supported capacity-building initiatives for national security forces. With the withdrawal of these three countries, the future of such collaboration is uncertain. Some experts fear that weakened cooperation could hamper intelligence sharing, limit the effectiveness of joint operations, and create security vacuums vulnerable to terrorist exploitation. The potential implications of this withdrawal for regional security are complex and multifaceted. Can alternative mechanisms for security cooperation be established? Can existing partnerships be strengthened to compensate for the absence of these three former members? Only time will tell how ECOWAS and the wider region will adapt to this new landscape. The shockwaves of the withdrawal ripple far and wide, echoing through both ECOWAS and the three departing nations. From sun-drenched markets to dusty border towns, uncertainty simmers like the midday heat. Economic fallout. For Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso, the economic blow could be severe. Trade with ECOWAS neighbors, previously tariff-free, now faces potential barriers, hampering exports and raising prices. Investors might hesitate, wary of political instability and uncertain regulations. Livelihoods hang in the balance, a silent prayer on the lips of struggling farmers and worried vendors. But ECOWAS is not immune either. The loss of three key members weakens its economic muscle, potentially impacting regional projects and trade within the remaining bloc. The domino effect could disrupt supply chains and raise concerns about the viability of ECOWAS' ambitious free trade goals. Political earthquake. On the political front, the tremor reaches deep into the foundations. Within ECOWAS, questions arise about the bloc's future direction. Should it adapt its approach to accommodate diverse political realities? Can dialogue bridge the divide between democratic principles and the concerns of the withdrawing nations? Meanwhile, back in Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso, the withdrawal fuels internal debates. Do the potential economic downsides outweigh the perceived gains of independence? Can these nations forge new regional partnerships or navigate the choppy waters of economic isolation? A sea of uncertainty. The economic and political landscape of West Africa has shifted under the seismic force of this withdrawal. As the dust settles on the horizon, one question remains: will cooperation emerge from the fissures, or will this region drift toward further fragmentation? Only time will reveal the path forward, but one thing is certain: the ripples of this decision will be felt for years to come. Across West Africa, a chorus of voices arises, each echoing a different note in the symphony of reactions to this unprecedented withdrawal. From within ECOWAS, whispers of concern mingled with shouts of caution. Some fear a domino effect, a regional unraveling fueled by political fissures and economic uncertainty. Others urge dialogue, bridges built across the chasm, reminding all of the shared dreams that birthed ECOWAS in the first place. But not all voices sing in unison. In some corners, resentment simmers, accusations hurled like stones across borders. Some see the withdrawal as a defiance of democracy, a retreat into isolationism that benefits only the juntas. The world watches with a wary eye. The international community, a complex orchestra itself, tunes into the discordant melody. Some caution against meddling, urging regional solutions. Others, fearing instability's contagiousness, offer a helping hand, pleading for a return to dialogue and unity. Will the voices of concern drown out the whispers of hope? Can a harmonious resolution be found amidst the clashing cymbals of discord? The future of West Africa hangs in the balance, a symphony waiting to be composed, its notes dictated by the choices made in the face of this unprecedented withdrawal. The withdrawal of Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso from ECOWAS has prompted diverse reactions from both within the regional bloc and from the international community. These reactions encompass concerns about regional stability, economic implications, and the future of ECOWAS itself. Some ECOWAS members have expressed concern about the potential for further instability in the region, particularly given the ongoing security challenges faced by West Africa. They also worry about the potential economic consequences of reduced trade and cooperation within the bloc. The international community has similarly expressed concern about the potential ramifications of the withdrawal. Some countries and organizations have urged dialogue and engagement with the three departing nations, while others have emphasized the importance of upholding democratic principles and human rights. It is important to note that opinions on the withdrawal and its potential consequences vary widely. Some analysts argue that it could lead to a weakening of ECOWAS and increased regional instability, while others believe it could present an opportunity for the bloc to adapt and reform. The long-term implications of the withdrawal for both ECOWAS and the wider region remain uncertain. How will ECOWAS respond to this new landscape? Can dialogue and compromise bridge the divide between the bloc and the three departing nations? The answers to these questions will depend on the decisions made by all stakeholders in the coming months and years. The dust has settled, revealing a fractured landscape. The withdrawal of Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso from ECOWAS leaves gaping questions in its wake. To navigate this uncharted territory, we turn to those with keen eyes and measured voices, experts and analysts who gaze towards the horizon, seeking glimpses of the future for both the regional bloc and the wider region. Future of ECOWAS. Adaptation and reform. Some experts believe ECOWAS needs to adapt its approach, perhaps engaging in more nuanced dialogue with diverse political realities within the bloc. Reforms aimed at addressing concerns about governance and economic integration could strengthen its internal cohesion. Weakening and fracture. Others warn of a possible domino effect, with other countries tempted to follow suit. A weakened ECOWAS could struggle to maintain regional stability and its ambitious economic goals, potentially leading to further fragmentation within the region. Regional stability. Increased instability and security concerns. Many analysts highlight the potential for heightened regional instability, particularly considering the ongoing security challenges faced by many West African nations. The absence of coordinated security efforts between ECOWAS and the withdrawing countries could create vulnerabilities that terrorist groups and other actors could exploit. Emerging new partnerships and alliances. Some experts point to the possibility of new regional partnerships and alliances emerging, potentially involving external actors like the African Union or international organizations. Uncertainties and opportunities. The withdrawal is not simply a rupture, it is a crossroads. From these fissures, new paths might emerge, leading to unforeseen possibilities. Can innovative solutions be forged? Can new bridges be built across the divides? Or will the current trajectory lead to further isolation and instability? The future of West Africa remains unwritten, its pages waiting to be filled with the choices made by its leaders and its people. In the heart of West Africa, where sun-baked plains whisper ancient secrets, voices rise above the dust, each echoing a different perspective on a region in flux. This is a story not of numbers and statistics, but of human experiences draped in the uncertainty of a historic withdrawal. Junta leaders. Frustration and misunderstood intentions. They say we are undemocratic, a junta leader might argue, his voice tinged with frustration, but they don't see the terror gnawing at our borders, the corruption eating away at our resources. We seek stability, not isolation. Calls for dialogue and engagement. Another leader might extend an olive branch. We are not enemies of ECOWAS, she could say, her gaze steady, but partners, albeit with different paths. Let's talk, not condemn. Let's build bridges, not walls. ECOWAS officials. Upholding principles and promoting democracy, our commitment to democratic values is unwavering. An ECOWAS official might explain, his voice firm, withdrawal cannot be condoned, but dialogue remains open. We seek a return to the rule of law and respect for human rights. Concern for regional stability and economic impact. Another official might express worry. This fracture weakens us all, she could say, her tone grave. The potential for instability and economic hardship across the region is real. We must find a path towards regional cohesion. Citizens of the affected countries. Caught in the crossfire, a farmer might speak of his anxieties. Sanctions bite, prices rise, but who suffers? The people like me caught between conflicting powers. Yearning for peace and prosperity, a young woman might share her hopes. We dreamt of a strong ECOWAS, a united West Africa. Let's not let those dreams turn to dust. Find a way back to cooperation, for the sake of all our futures. These are just a few of the voices echoing across the Sahel, each carrying the weight of hopes, fears, and aspirations. From the halls of power to the dusty streets, a chorus of perspectives rises, urging us to listen, to understand, and to seek solutions. Can these diverse voices find harmony? Can a bridge be built across the divide? The future of West Africa hangs in the balance, waiting for the answer to unfold. Amidst the sun-drenched tapestry of West Africa, where ancient stories mingle with modern anxieties, a complex narrative unfolds. The withdrawal of Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso from ECOWAS ripples outwards, echoing diverse perspectives on the reasons, potential impact, and possible solutions. Reasons for withdrawal. Junta leaders, we face existential threats, a junta leader might explain. Terrorists prey on our vulnerabilities, while sanctions choke our economies. ECOWAS, meant to be a partner, feels distant, imposing solutions that ignore our realities. Civil society activist, the withdrawal, she might argue, highlights a deeper discontent. ECOWAS hasn't addressed democratic backsliding within member states, nor fostered equitable economic development. It needs to adapt to be more inclusive. Regional analyst, geopolitical considerations play a role too. He might point out the influence of other actors, coupled with internal power struggles within ECOWAS itself, contribute to this complex web of motivations. Potential impact. ECOWAS official, regional security is at stake, she might warn, intelligence sharing could falter, joint operations hampered, creating vulnerabilities for extremist groups. Economist, trade barriers could cripple cross-border businesses, he might explain, economic isolation hurts everyone, potentially sparking further instability and hindering regional progress. Local trader, we, the ordinary people, suffer the most, she might lament, prices rise, jobs disappear, and the dream of a united West Africa feels like a mirage. Possible solutions. Junta spokesperson, dialogue, not sanctions, she might urge, let's address concerns about democracy and security together, respecting national sovereignty while finding common ground. ECOWAS diplomat, reform and adaptability are crucial, he might argue. ECOWAS must listen to diverse voices, address economic disparities, and find solutions that benefit the entire region. Youth activist, we, the future generation, demand inclusion, she might plead. Let's build a new ECOWAS based on transparency, inclusivity, and shared prosperity, a regional bloc that truly serves all its people. No single voice captures the entirety of this complex situation. By listening to the mosaic of perspectives, weaving together the threads of concerns and aspirations, perhaps we can glimpse a path towards a future where regional unity finds new meaning, a future where security, prosperity, and democracy flourish under the same sun. The withdrawal of Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso from ECOWAS raises a multitude of questions about the motivations, potential consequences, and possible solutions. Understanding this complex situation requires a nuanced approach, examining diverse perspectives and avoiding simplistic narratives. Reasons for withdrawal. Military factors. The ongoing struggles against terrorist groups in all three countries, coupled with a perceived lack of support from ECOWAS in addressing security concerns, play a significant role. Political discontent, frustrations with ECOWAS' approach to promoting democracy, particularly the imposition of sanctions seen as detrimental to civilian populations, contribute to the withdrawal. Economic considerations. Concerns about the negative economic impact of ECOWAS membership, including trade barriers and limitations on economic cooperation, are also cited as motivating factors. Potential impact. Regional security. Weakened collaboration on security issues could lead to increased vulnerabilities in the region, potentially benefiting terrorist and extremist groups. Economic integration. Reduced trade and investment within the bloc could hamper economic growth and development, particularly for the withdrawing countries. Political landscape. The withdrawal could further isolate the three countries and potentially trigger instability within ECOWAS, impacting the future of regional cooperation. Possible solutions. Open dialogue. Engaging in meaningful dialogue between ECOWAS and the withdrawing countries, addressing concerns and seeking common ground, is crucial to prevent further fragmentation. Reform and adaptation. ECOWAS needs to consider internal reforms to address concerns about governance and economic disparities, potentially leading to a more inclusive and adaptable bloc. Alternative partnerships. The withdrawing countries and ECOWAS might explore alternative forms of regional cooperation, including collaborations on specific issues of mutual interest. The withdrawal of Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso from ECOWAS underscores the complex challenges facing regional integration in West Africa. Finding solutions requires a multifaceted approach that acknowledges diverse perspectives, prioritizes dialogue and mutual understanding, and embraces the possibility of adaptation and reform. Only through collective effort and a shared commitment to the well-being of the entire region can a path toward stability, prosperity, and a brighter future for West Africa be found. As the dust settles around this seismic event, a multitude of voices still echo through the Sahel. Juntas raise their concerns, ECOWAS grapples with new realities, and ordinary citizens yearn for a secure and prosperous future. But from this cacophony of perspectives, some key points emerge. Key points. The withdrawal stems from a complex interplay of factors, ranging from security concerns and perceived lack of support to political discontent and economic anxieties. The potential consequences are multifaceted, impacting regional security, economic integration, and the political landscape of both ECOWAS and the withdrawing countries. Solutions lie not in singular pronouncements, but in genuine dialogue, a willingness to adapt, and a shared commitment to a stable and prosperous West Africa. Takeaways. This withdrawal is not an endpoint, but a crossroads. The choices made in the coming months and years will determine the region's trajectory. Open communication and mutual understanding are crucial to bridging the divides and paving the way for a future where cooperation trumps isolation. The future of ECOWAS, and by extension West Africa, hinges on its ability to adapt, respond to diverse needs, and become a truly inclusive bloc. Beneath the harsh sun of the Sahel, hope still flickers. The voices demanding solutions, seeking partnerships, and yearning for a better future cannot be silenced. Will they find resonance in the halls of power? Will regional unity emerge once more from the ashes of discord? The answer lies not just in the hands of leaders and officials, but in the hearts and minds of all who call West Africa home. This story, though complex, is far from over. Let us watch, listen, and engage, for in the tapestry of human experience, even the darkest threads can be woven into a brighter future. The echo of the withdrawal, a tremor across the sun-baked plains of West Africa, lingers heavy in the air. This is not just a political ripple, but a seismic shift with long-term implications that could redraw the map of regional integration, leaving deep scars in its wake. Fractured unity. Imagine ECOWAS, once a bastion of Pan-African solidarity, fractured, its golden ring shattered. Security cooperation buckles, intelligence sharing falters, leaving porous borders vulnerable to the insidious creep of extremism. Can the remaining nations hold the line, or will the domino effect topple regional stability from within? Economic fallout. The economic tapestry, meticulously woven over decades, faces the threat of unraveling. Trade barriers rise, strangling cross-border commerce, isolating the withdrawing nations, and casting a shadow over regional prosperity. Can ECOWAS maintain its economic muscle, or will its ambitious free trade goals lie in tatters? Political uncertainty. Within the withdrawing nations, a storm of uncertainty brews. Can their aspirations for a different path to stability and development withstand the economic pressure and potential isolation? Will these fissures deepen, fracturing internal cohesion and creating breeding grounds for further unrest? A crossroads of destiny. The long-term implications of this withdrawal are not preordained. They stand at a crossroads, a tapestry yet to be woven. Will dialogue and compromise bridge the chasms, or will West Africa descend into a fragmented landscape of insecurity and economic hardship? The answer lies in the choices made by its leaders, and the voices of its people, and in the unwavering spirit of a region that has known both darkness and dawn. In the face of a fractured ECOWAS, can the dream of West African unity survive, or will this region forever drift towards fragmentation? This question provokes viewers to consider the future of regional integration and their role in shaping it. Engage in informed discussions, demand solutions from your leaders, and support initiatives that bridge divides and promote dialogue. The future of West Africa is not preordained, it rests in your hands. This direct call to action empowers viewers to become active participants in finding solutions. As the dust settles on this seismic event, one question remains: can the voices of hope rise above the echoes of discord? Can a symphony of unity be composed once more? This poetic conclusion invites viewers to reflect on the possibilities for reconciliation and positive change. Imagine yourself sitting across from a leader from one of the affected countries. What questions would you ask them? What solutions would you propose? Let your voice be heard, because understanding diverse perspectives is key to rebuilding regional unity. This personalizes the issue and encourages viewers to actively engage in empathy and critical thinking. Remember, we're all part of this journey together. Let's keep exploring, learning, and growing. Until next time, stay curious and keep spreading those positive vibes. Thanks for joining in. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to hit that like button, drop a comment, and hit subscribe to stay tuned for more exciting content coming your way.